This is gonna be a tier list of my favorite Godzilla characters throughout the entire franchise, even though they're all not really here, but yeah, this is just a quick video I wanted to make, just to see if it will work out and see how it goes. And to start off, I guess Godzilla's here. This is the 1954 Gojira. So obviously, since it's Godzilla, and this is like the first one, I would put him up here because he is the big, he's probably like the number one. Obviously, there's no question about it. Honestly, they should have probably not even had him here. They should have had like a different kaiju, but yeah. So he's gonna be up here since he's like the number one. Next one, next one is Anguirus, and honestly, I don't know. I would say he could be up here in S tier, but I mean, I feel like he should be here. He doesn't really do much. I mean, he was in 3 movies, I think. No, he was in like 4 or 5. And in the first time he appeared, he was killed by Godzilla. The second time, he was basically killed by Mechagodzilla, even though he survived, which is insane. Oh no, wait, the third time, the third time, even though this should be the second time, he wasn't killed, but he was fighting Ghidorah with the other monsters, and then he fought Gigan. So I don't know. Anguirus is kind of like a weird one because I feel like he could be in the top 5, but at the same time I feel like he was in a good amount of movies, but I don't really know whether or not I should put him in S. But he's a pretty big fan favorite for a lot of people. He's also like one of my favorites. But I wouldn't say he's top 5 kaiju. He's probably like top 10, but sadly he's not top 5. So I would put him. I'm gonna put him here in A tier just because I don't think he's on that level. So next is Rodan. He's kind of in a similar situation, but I feel like unlike Anguirus, he's been in a lot more movies, and he's kind of been. I wouldn't say he was an essential part of the Godzilla series in general. I will say he has appeared in a lot more movies. He's appeared in like every single era of Godzilla, or at least the common eras of Godzilla. I feel like he could be top 5, I would say. But again, he's kind of like a fan favorite. Honestly, to be fair, I think most of these kaiju, besides like maybe a couple of them, are going to be like either A or below, because I feel like Godzilla's the only one that would be like S tier because he's Godzilla. So I would say, to be honest, I would have Rodan be with Anguirus because, I feel like he hasn't really been in too many movies. I mean, he has been in a lot of movies, but he hasn't really. He's not on the level like of Godzilla yet. I feel like, to me, I feel like Rodan, like most of the other kaiju on here, are gonna be like A or below. For now, we'll see. We'll see what happens when we go along. Varan. I feel like with him, I'm about to put him in like either C or D because he wasn't really in. He had his own movie. He was in Destroy All Monsters, but that was kind of it. He wasn't really in a lot of other movies after that. And those are the only 2 I can think of off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure he was in like a couple other ones. I because of that, and because of the fact that like not a lot of people know him, I'm pretty sure most people on here are probably not gonna, or who watch this video probably won't know who he is. But because of that, I feel like he's gonna have to be in D tier, just because he could have had he had like several chances from what I've heard about him to be able to do that, to become like a more like relevant, I guess, kaiju. Obviously, there's still a chance for him to like appear in a movie, maybe like in the MonsterVerse or in another Toho film. But for now, he's gonna have to be in D tier. Mothra. This is the one that I think will probably be in S tier. Um, and I see another one that's gonna have to be in S tier, but we'll get to that soon. Uh, I would put her in S tier because honestly, again, this tier list is also kind of like my own opinion on these as well. So I think with Mothra, it's a different situation from Rodan and Anguirus because I feel like she's been an even more vital part of the Godzilla series because like she had her own film. She was literally in every single she was in every single she appeared in every single era of Godzilla, and she also kind of had her own trilogy, and I feel like she's just a little bit more relevant compared to the other kaiju, and plus she's also her and Rodan were in the MonsterVerse, but I think she had like a little bit of a bigger role. So I would say she goes with Godzilla in S tier, but she's obviously not like close to him, but she's in S tier. Okay, so Kong. Uh, I guess we can go off of the. I was gonna say we could go off this one, which is the 1962 version. Wait, is it 1962 or 1963? I forgot. Oh my god, I can't think. I'm trying to remember because when did I think it came out 1962. Somebody's gonna probably have to correct me on that, but yeah, this is King Kong versus Godzilla Kong. But honestly, we could go off of the other ones. But I think we should just go off of this one for now. So if we were to go off of this Kong, I would say I don't know if I should put him in A tier because like I mean he's King Kong and he's like a little bit more relevant than some of these other kaiju, especially when it comes to he was his own thing, and then they put him up against Godzilla, and then it kind of just turned into like a rivalry. I guess I could put him in A tier. He's obviously on the levels of like Godzilla or even Mothra, so I'm gonna have to put him in A tier for now because I feel like he's more relevant. He's like Rodan and Anguirus. Except he has his own like franchise, some movies, some shows. But in terms of Godzilla kaiju, he's kind of up there, I would say, especially with like the recent MonsterVerse films. I would say he's up there with the other kaiju. So yeah, I think that works. Okay, the giant octopus, D tier, only because it's like it's also kind of a forgettable kaiju because like he appeared in Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla, and then he appeared in I think it was Frankenstein versus Baragon, and then War of the Gargantuans, and then he like I think it was after that when he like just wasn't in the film anymore. So I think he's gonna have to be in D tier. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have to be in D tier because, to be honest, he is a little bit of a forgettable character, kind of like Varan. So, all right, next is Manda. Now Manda, he's like a underrated character, I would say. He's appeared in a couple films, but to be fair, he's probably gonna have to, compared to the other kaiju on this list, he's probably gonna have to go in in like other like C tier, only because he's kind of a forgettable one. Except I feel like people will be able to like tell who he is more often than Aaron or the giant octopus, because he's appeared in a couple of Godzilla films. So if you know enough about Godzilla, you'd probably be able to tell who Manda is, because he was in Final Wars, Destroy All Monsters. He had his own. He was in this other film. I think, what was it called? I forgot what it was called. It was like Air. I don't want to say it because I feel like I'm gonna say it. It's gonna sound wrong, but he was in another film. So I honestly think he's a little bit more known compared to Varan, but like it's not to a certain point. It's to a certain point. So I'm going to keep him there. All right, next is Ghidorah. He's going in S tier, and that's only because he's another like he's like Mothra when it comes to how essential he was in the Godzilla series. He is Godzilla's most well-known foe. He is appeared in every single Godzilla series, and actually no, not every Godzilla series, but like in all of the Godzilla eras, he was in at least one or a couple films. And even today in the MonsterVerse, he's an important character. And all in all, I think he's just like I think he's probably like one of the most well known out of all the other Godzilla kaiju. So there's not really much I can say about that. Anyways, next is Frankenstein. Now, he is also a tricky one, but I feel like he's meant to go in D tier, only because, again, he's one of those instances where, I mean, he's Frankenstein. I know a lot of people probably know who Frankenstein is, but like when it comes to Godzilla and like Toho and that stuff, this Frankenstein, I don't think they know who he is, and they wouldn't be able to like tell who he is, because he doesn't look like Frankenstein. He just looks like a caveman. So I'm about to put him in D for now. Okay, next is Baragon, and the thing about Baragon, he might also have to be in D tier, but he was in Destroy All Monsters. He was also in what was it? He was also in GMK, which is Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, and I feel like because of that movie, I feel like people would be able to know him more. I feel like he's more relevant compared to Frankenstein. Now, like when it comes to the amount of movies he's been and like who he is and stuff. Although I guess he could also be in D tier because like a lot of people don't really know who he is either. But I feel like he's also in like with Manda when it comes to that, because like if you know enough about Godzilla, you'll probably have an understanding of who Baragon is. At least if you watch like the like GMK, if you watch that, then you probably know who Baragon is. And if you watch like Destroy All Monsters or even the first film he came out in, you probably know who he is. And I feel like C would be a better spot for him, just because he's like more of a supporting character, considering how many films he's been compared to Frankenstein. So, yeah. Okay, Ibra. He could be in B, but in terms of relevancy, he's on the same level of like Manda and Baragon to be honest, because he only appeared in like 3 films in total, and I feel like he's not really I feel like he's just not like on that level yet. So he's gonna have to be in C tier for now, just because I have no idea what I don't think he's like on the level of these other kaiju, but he's more of a supporting character type of kaiju compared to the other ones at the bottom. All right, the giant condor D. This is an obvious one because I'm pretty sure nobody will ever know about this creature unless they watch the only film he came out in, or if they watch another film. But yeah. Okay, let me try to remember their names. Was it San? God, the Gargantuans. We'll just call them the Gargantuans for now. I feel like they're also like with Frankenstein, because like you have to watch. They're only in like one film, and then they had like a cameo in Final Wars. So yeah, I think they're gonna have to be in D tier in terms of like relevancy. Gorgosaurus. Oh man, I want to put him in B because he was in like two. He was only in two films, but I feel like a lot of people know him more than most of these other kaiju, which is kind of strange. But honestly, I might have to put him in C tier because I just don't think he was he has like enough relevancy to get him at like B, where like he's kind of known, but at the same time not a lot of people know. So I think actually I think enough people know about him in the Godzilla community at least. Like if you're just like the average, like if you're not like me, where I know most of my Godzilla stuff, um, but I feel like if you're like the average, actually I'm just gonna put him in C. It doesn't even matter, because again he's like I feel like if you're just like the average Godzilla fan, and you just watch it like random. So, I don't know. Just he's not to be in C for now because I feel like he's not that relevant. Okay, I think this is the giant serpent from King Kong Escapes. He's going in D because I already know nobody's gonna know who he is. Mechany Kong probably gonna have to go in D too because I feel like not a lot of people know about this one either. Although I guess he could be in C, but I feel like he's gonna have to go in D. In terms of relevancy, honestly, to be fair, I think this tier is starting to turn into one where it's just like whether or not they're relevant enough. So I guess this is what the videos have to be now, just like relevancy and whether or not they're relevant. Manila. I'm gonna probably have to put him in B. I'm gonna probably put him in B because I just don't think enough people like. I feel like he's. I think he's the only one that's in like the middle, because if you're the average Godzilla fan, you probably know who this is because he's Godzilla's son. But like at the same time, if you're not that into Godzilla, then you probably don't really know who this is. It's kind of like a 50-50 thing. So I would say he can go in B. Kamakuras, sadly, he's going to have to go in D because I feel like not a lot of people know about him. Same thing with Kumanga. These two kind of appeared in some of the same films with each other. They both appeared in Final Wars, but I don't think they're relevant. I don't think not enough people know about them enough to be put in C tier. So they're gonna have to be in D for now. Gabra's going in D, definitely, because I don't think anyone knows him at all. Gizora, oh my god, like, I don't even know whether to put him in C or D, because, in fact, all these three came out in, like, their own, these three came out together in the same film. The only one that I think, like, expanded more into other films was this guy. I think his name is, it's up to the K, I think. I forgot his name, but this one appeared in another Godzilla film. It was I think it was like Godzilla, or it was Godzilla Tokyo SOS, I'm pretty sure. So, to be fair, these three don't have enough relevancy in the modern, like today. So I'm gonna have to put all them in D. Even though I feel like they could have a chance. I know most of these guys are also in the comics too, so that's why a lot of people will probably know more about them if they read the comics. But for now, they're going to go in D. Hedera. I might have to put him in B, just because again he's kind of like Manila, where if you know enough, then you know who he is. At the same time, like you probably don't know who he is, but yeah, he's like one of like the most common foes, I would say. Gigan. I want to put him in A because I feel like he's also one of those characters where he's more relevant. I feel like because he was like one of the main villains in Final Wars, and he appeared in two films in the Showa era. I feel like he could go in A, because I feel like if you ask people if you show them a picture of who Gigan is, they'll probably know. But at the same time, it's like he's kind of like Hidora in Manila, to where I guess I could put him in. I'm gonna have to put him in B actually, because I feel like in terms of like compared to these three, it's a little bit more difficult for people to to know who he is. And yeah, he's more like a major foe, even though he's like one of my favorite characters in the Godzilla series. But yeah, Megalon, he's gonna have to go and see, because I feel like less people know about him because he only appeared in like one movie. So yeah, compared to Gigan, I think he's like less known. But yeah, Jet Jaguar. So considering like the amount of people that know about him now because of those, I don't know if you guys like remember when Godzilla X Kong came out and there was this theory that one of the characters in that movie was gonna like pilot this guy. And then Jet Jaguar also appeared in like a Godzilla show and a Godzilla anime that came out in that came out in like 2021. It was, I think it was Godzilla Singular Point, and so that kind of gave him more relevancy again. So I would say compared to these guys now, he's more of a B tier. I feel like he's more known now. I feel like if you ask like more people online who know a little bit about Godzilla, you show them a picture of Jet Jaguar and they'll probably tell you yes or no. So, yeah. Mecha Godzilla. Whew. I want to put him in A. I mean, I want to put him in S, but no, you know what? I'm gonna put him in S. The only reason why I'm gonna put him in S is because he was also in the MonsterVerse, so that gave him more relevancy. And then of course he was in the other Godzilla eras. He's also just like well known because he's just like the metal doppelganger. He's the of like, because you know how a lot like in fiction there's always like a doppelganger in some of these franchises. I feel like he's more well known because of that, so he's gonna go in S tier. King Caesar. He is probably going to have to go in C tier. Although I could put him in B because I feel like more people actually know him more than the others. But at the same time, I feel like not enough people know about him. He was in Final Wars, but he was also in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I feel like he's gonna have to go in C tier though, because I feel like unlike Jet Jaguar and then these guys, I feel like he's like a little less known. He's like a little less known than these guys. Unless, yeah, we're just have to keep him there for now because I don't really think enough people know about him to have him be up in B tier. Titanosaurus is going in D tier because I don't think enough people know about him either, because he only appeared in one film, and it was the last film in the Showa series, or the Showa era. So, yeah. Biolante. So now we're entering like the other kaiju that appeared like after the Showa series ended, and Biolante I feel like is one of the I feel like most of them are gonna be in C tier because I think enough people know about Biolante, but then like they don't really know him, you know. Like he's not B tier. I feel like Biolante's not B tier, but I think C tier fits Biolante better because again I feel like not a lot of people really know who this is. I guess actually I could put Biolante in B tier because yeah I'll just leave him in C tier for now because I feel like I just don't think enough people really know about Biolante, you know. Batra is kind of the same thing. I feel like because unless you watch the one film he appeared in, he's a little less known. He's almost at D tier when it comes like today. Like when you think about him, he's almost at D tier now. But I guess I might have to put him in D tier because I feel like some people forget about him a lot. And with Biolante, it's kind of harder to forget because it's the plant monster that Godzilla fights. But yeah, Mogura. Mogira. Is it Mogira or Mogura? I don't know. I'll just call him Mogira for now. He's going in D tier just because I again it's one of those kaiju that like are forgettable or just like cameo. Space Godzilla, because of Godzilla Supernova, and also because I think a lot of people knew about Space Godzilla before the announcement of Godzilla X Kong Supernova. I'm gonna have to put Space Godzilla in B tier. He's not A tier like these three, but he's getting there. He's getting closer to that, and so I think he can stay there. Destroya. I've noticed that a lot of people know more about Destroya than what I thought, and I think Destroya could be in B tier or even like high C tier. But for now, I think he's gonna have to go in B with Space Godzilla because he's also kind of like at that point where a lot of people are like starting to find out about him and like are he's becoming a little bit more relevant. So yeah. Zilla. This is a unique one because I feel like because he's also she's actually is it a she or a he? I think it's a she. Zilla is basically like also becoming it's Zilla's been pretty well known mostly because of the movie, but I guess it wasn't in a good way because the movie sucked. So, but Zilla appeared in Final Wars, and then that was kind of it when it came to film. But I think he's more well known compared to um, the other kaijus at the bottom. So, Orga, C tier because I really don't think I think it's more known than the ones at the bottom, but at the same time, Orga's kind of like only a little bit of people probably know who Orga is. Only a little bit of people would probably be able to tell who that is. Megaguirus. Sadly, I think this is also going to go in D tier because I feel like a lot of less people know about this creature compared to Orga. So, all right, the Mutos, B tier, I would say. I think that would fit them. Mostly because the MonsterVerse and stuff, and a lot of people know now, know who they are. So yeah, Skull Crawlers. Those are gonna have to go in B tier as well, because of Kong Skull Island, and then they also appeared in Godzilla vs Kong. So yeah, B tier would fit these best. And then the last one, I forgot the name of this. I think it Warbat. I think it's a Warbat. C tier, mostly because I think people kind of forgot about the Warbats. They appeared in Godzilla vs Kong, and I think they made an appearance in Godzilla vs Kong: New Empire. But I think it's kind of a little bit of a more forgettable one than these two when it comes to the MonsterVerse kaiju. So yeah. All right, so this is the tier list of kaiju. There wasn't really five. I can put five up here. I'm gonna think right now to see if I should move any more. Um, but I think this should be good. So there was no big to me. There really isn't a. I guess when it comes to relevancy, there was only four I could think of that would be a little bit more relevant than others. These three, I feel like people will know enough about. Like I feel like more people know about them, but not as much as like these four are more I would say in the like what's it called? I can't name it. Yeah, no. These three I think are more known like generally compared to these three. Except I guess Kong is probably more well known actually. Now that I think about it. Honestly, I might have to move Kong up now that I think about it because I think people know about King Kong more than these two. So I'm gonna move Kong up just because now that I think about it, I think a lot more people will know who Kong is compared to the other two. So, like if you know pop culture, I guess, and if you know enough like generally about pop culture, like these type of films, then I think people will know who Kong is. So I guess this only leaves these two. I mean, I guess there is a five, but it's not with these two. Um, and then B tier we have these guys, which are pretty major food and allies, I guess. but not really to a certain point. Then you got the C tier, the supporting cast, the ones that barely, not enough people really know about, but yeah. And then at the bottom you have D tier, the creatures or the kaijus that nobody knows about and will probably not know about unless they watch a movie, like all the Godzilla movies, or are just like avid Godzilla fans like me. So yeah, this is the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys think there should be anything else that should be changed about this tier list, leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see if I can make another video soon because I'm still trying to plan out how I'm gonna be able to do this. And this is gonna be another one of those like little test videos that I make to see whether or not like this type of video format works out. So yeah, so if you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. Leave a comment, like I said, if you guys want to know, or if you guys think there's anything I need to change with this tier list, or if there's anything else you just want to say about my channel, or what you think I could do for a video. Leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.